So now we will see one example on how to convert NFA into its equivalent DFA. So here is given the NFA. So now what we have to do, initially you have to write the transition table for the given NFA from the given diagram. So now here I am writing the transition table of the NFA. Here this is sigma, this is Q. The inputs are A and B. Now the states are Q0, Q1 and Q2. This is the final state in NFA. This is the initial state. So first of all, you just write the entries. On seeing A on Q0, where you are going? You are going to Q0 and also you are going to Q1. That means you are going to two states, Q0 and Q1. Q0 and Q1. On seeing B on Q0, where are you going? You are going to Q0 only. Next, on seeing A on Q1, you don't have any state. On seeing B on Q1, you are going to Q2. You are going to the state Q2. Similarly, on seeing A on Q2, you don't have any state. Similarly, on seeing B on Q2, you don't have any state. So this is the transition table for the NFA. Transition table for the given NFA. So after that, first of all, you have to identify the initial state for the DFA. Whatever may be the initial state in NFA, the same initial state will be applicable to DFA also. So now we have to draw. Now we have to construct transition table for DFA. We have to construct the transition table for DFA. So how you will construct? We don't know how many states will be there in the equivalent DFA. So you have to start your journey with the initial state which you have identified for the DFA. So here this is your sigma. Here this is your Q. What are your state input symbols? A and B. So what is the initial state you have identified for your DFA? Q0. Q0 is the initial state you have identified for the DFA. So here, to just make a difference, in order to avoid the confusion between NFA and DFA, here in DFA, I will show my states with square brackets. I will show my states with square brackets. It is just a notation to avoid the confusion between NFA state and DFA states. NFA states are represented like this and DFA states are represented like this. Now you will see. Now you have to enter the entries into the DFA from the transition table of NFA. Now you see, on applying A and Q0, in NFA, where you are going? You are going to Q0 and Q1. Now Q0, Q1 will be the new states in DFA. Q0 and Q1 will be the new state in DFA. Similarly, on applying B on Q0 in NFA, where you are going? You are going to Q0. Now here our journey starts. Now you see, is there any new states are created? Here this is one state and this is another state. Here already Q0 is already covered. We have discussed it. This Q0 we have already discussed it here. Now what is the new state here? The new state generated is Q0 and Q1. From this we will start generating the another new states. So Q0 Q1 is the new state generated right now. So now in this line, whatever the new states we have obtained, those we have to work with that new obtained states. Now Q0, Q1 is the new state obtained in the for the DFA. So now you have to see what will happen if you apply A on Q0, Q1. Now you have to derive where you are going on applying A on Q0, Q1 with the help of NFA diagram. Now you will see how will be the transition. Now you will see the transition as when you apply delta of your states are Q0, Q1. So now you are applying A on Q0 and Q1. So where you are going? You are going here. You have to write like this: delta of Q0 comma A union delta of Q0 comma Q1 comma A. Q1 comma A. Now you see where you are going when you are applying A on Q0. You are going to Q0 Q1 union. On applying Q1 A on Q1, where you are going? You don't have any state. If you don't have any state, that is called phi. It is an empty state. Now again you got Q0 and Q1. You got the same state. So when you apply A on Q0 Q1, you are going to the same state Q0 Q1. This is the new combined state. Again you have to check for what happens if you apply B on Q0 Q1. So again you have to write delta of Q0 Q1. You are applying B on Q0 Q1 is equal to delta of Q0 comma B union delta of Q1 comma B. These transitions you have to take from the NFA. So now what happens if you apply B on Q0? You are going to Q0 only. You are going to Q0 only. Union. What happens if you apply B on Q1? If you apply B on Q1, you are going to Q2. You are going to Q2. Now, after union of these two sets, you got Q0 and Q2. That means you got a new state called Q0 Q2 state. Q0 Q2 state. Now, here you have to write Q0 Q2 state. Now, in each step, you have to check for the new states. Here, this new state is created. This new state is created that we have discussed here. Now again Q0 is already discussed. Now again come this line. When you come this line, Q0 Q1 is already discussed. Now what is the new state here? Q0 Q2 is the combined new state. Now we have to check what happens if you apply A and B on this new state Q0 Q2. Now you have to write here Q0 Q2. Now we will see what happens if you apply A on Q0 Q2. So again you have to write like this: delta of Q0 Q2. You are applying A is equal to delta of Q0 comma A union delta of Q2 comma A. Now, so if you apply A and Q0, you are going to Q0 Q1. You are going to Q0 Q1 union. If you apply Q2, if you apply A and Q2, you are going nothing. That is an empty state. So here Q0 Q1. So this can be represented as Q0 Q1. So here on applying A and Q0 Q2, you are going to Q0 Q1. That means this is already discussed. A new state is not created. Now again see what happens if you apply Q0 Q2 comma B is equal to, we will write delta of Q0 comma B union delta of Q2 comma B. Again you write what happens if you apply B on Q0? You are going to Q0 only. What happens if you apply B on Q2? If you apply B on Q2, you are going to nothing. That means that it is an empty state. union empty. So now you got state Q0 as the final state. So now you get Q0. This is already discussed. Now you have to come here. Is there any new state generated? If it is generated, again you have to check with the input symbols A and B. Here Q0, Q1, it is already there. Here Q0 is already there. That means no new states were generated. Now here we will stop creating the transition table for DFA. Now we have to check. This is the initial state. Now we have to check for the final state. Now what is the final state in NFA? In NFA, Q2 is the final state. Now whatever the states which are linked with Q2, that will be the final state in DFA. Here this is linked with Q2. So now this is the final state in DFA. Now Q0, Q1. Here Q0, Q1 is a new combined state in DFA. Similarly, Q0, Q2 is a new combined state in DFA. Okay. Now we have successfully constructed the transition table for the given NFA. Now we have to convert the transition table of DFA into the required DFA. So now we have seen the transition table of NFA. So now this is the transition table of DFA, our DFA. Of converting NFA to DFA, so this is the transition table which we have obtained for the DFA. Now from this, what you can observe, we have 3 states in DFA. So what are the 3 states? Q0 is one state. Next one is Q0, Q1 is another combined state in DFA, and another one is Q0, Q2 is another combined new state in DFA. Now you just, every state we will represent it with a circle. As usual, you just mark it, the circle. Now this is an initial state. Now you see what happens if you apply A on Q0, you are going to Q0, Q1. Now after applying A on Q0, you are going to Q0, Q1. Now after applying B on Q0, where you are going? You are going to Q0 only. You are going to Q0 only. Next, what happens if you apply A on Q0, Q1? You are going to, if you apply A on Q0, Q1, you are going to Q0, Q1 only. Now after applying B on Q0, Q1, where you are going? Q0, Q2. You are moving to Q0, Q2. Now you see, what happens if you apply A on Q0, Q2? You are moving to Q0, Q1. So after applying B on Q0, Q2, where you are going? Q0. Now what is the final state? Here in the NFA, the final state is Q2. Here the states are linked with the Q2 will be the final state. Here this is the final state in the DFA. So this is the way of converting an NFA into its equivalent DFA. So it's not a very difficult concept. You can simply convert an NFA into its equivalent DFA just by looking at the transition tables. Okay, thank you for watching this video.